Hello, and welcome along to the Shirtless Plantain Show. I am your host for today. I'm Tosin. There is no guest, there is no co-host. It's just me and my Nigerian self talk about Manchester United and Bournemouth. The game ended up 4-4, and if you're neutral, or if you dislike Man United, or if you're both, and you love chaos, that game was for you. That was a wild game. As a United fan, there was some things I saw that I liked. There was a lot of things I disliked, but all in all, a point, and I'm just like, come on, man. Do better than this. So let's talk about the bigger picture, Ruben Amorim's record. When I think about Ruben Amorim's record at Man United, it was high November 2024. I think of one song and one song only. That's Michael Jackson's Wanna Be Starting Something. The legend, the great Michael Jackson said, it's too high to get over. You're too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, and the pain feels like thunder. What the pain part? I'm not just hearing thunder. I'm seeing lightning. I'm feeling raindrops. I do not like it. Manchester United are giving us an umbrella while it's raining instead of you to go inside and wait for the weather to change and figure things out. You're just staying outside in the rain, and I'm not a big fan of what's happening with Ruben Amorim right now. Since he's been in charge, November 2024, that's when he got hired. Let's look at his record in the Premier League. 43 games in charge, 14 of those have been wins, 11 have been draws, and 18 have been losses. 62 goals scored, 68 conceded. In that span of time, only Wolves, West Ham, Tottenham have conceded more goals than United in that period. I'm not a mathematician. That's not what I went to school for. That's not what I do on a daily basis. But those numbers right there, those numbers not ideal. You have conceded more goals than you have scored. You have more losses than you have wins. And the problem I see with Manchester United is just too chaotic. It's noise off the field. It's noise on the field. You're seeing the midfield pivot of Casemiro and Bruno, two legends of the game. Love them. They're still great to this day. They don't mesh well. When Ruben looks at the midfield, I wonder, do you see what we see? Are you seeing something else? Are you trying to prove a point? What are you trying to show? Because there's times where Bruno goes on lone man missions to go press, leaving Casemiro by himself. And Casemiro's not a spring chicken no more. You can't go and clean up because Casemiro's legs are gone. There's no disrespect to him. He's played a lot of football in his career. He's won 5 Champions League. He's done a lot in his career, but he's not that same Casemiro anymore. He'll still show you from time to time, like, yes, I am Casemiro. But when you leave him alone, that's not good. And that goes to my other point about the midfield. I understand he wants senior defenders, Ruben Amorim. He wants more experienced players back there. I get it. But, bro, when you have a pivot of Casemiro and Bruno, that makes the defense very, very susceptible to counterattacks, which happened today, which happens all the time against Manchester United Football Club. You get through that midfield, guess what? It's easy to run out of defense. The wingbacks got to track back. The center backs are off their feet. You know, they're not running backwards. They're running backwards. They're not ready. Point blank, period. But the tactical experiment, we saw before the game that Manchester United were talking about moving to a different formation, and he did it today. We'll have to say, Ruben Amorim did show up in a different tactic today. You kind of saw Casemiro and Bruno staggering in midfield. Bournemouth struggled a bit with United's transition. They were trying to figure out if they want to be man-to-man, if they want to be zonal. So there's some good stuff in there. Like the first 20-something minutes, you're like, oh, Man United can blow them off their socks. They can actually win this 3-4-0. The first 30 minutes of a Man United game, you're like, woof, this is an amazing team. They can win the Premier League. But then teams adjust. Teams start to realize style makes fights, and they start to punch you in the back of the mouth. Obviously, Ahmad scored early. Great cross from Dalot to find Ahmad. Ahmad did what he had to do and finished his chance. But then Bournemouth started to get a little bit more confident. Tavernier had a header, and they were like, oh, we can get at them. We can absolutely get at them. And that get at them, that's what they did. Antoine Semenyo before this game apparently had gone 7 games without a goal. I saw that before the game, that stat, and I was like, yeah, he's going to score today. And what a hell of a finish it was. Semenyo is a great player. That is a fantastic talent, another grassroots talent player in England who I love whenever I see a player come from grassroots to professional ranks in England, especially not from the traditional academy, the big academies. I love seeing players come from outside that and still make a big difference. So Antoine Semenyo, legend, you are doing well with your career, club and country. Go kill in the World Cup, Antoine Semenyo. But yes, United ended up scoring a goal right at the end of the first half, which again, both goalkeepers should give their heads a wobble. United and Bournemouth's goalkeepers were terrible, absolutely garbage today. They were horrible. that goalkeeper for Bournemouth, I don't even know his name because I do not want to keep that in my head. He had a slap at Casemiro's header, and it was just bad. You could see the defender put his hand in his face like, come on, man, what are you doing? United go into halftime 2-1 up. A lot of United fans are superstitious and scared, and who do not believe in Ruben Amorim kind of felt hate. The halftime record's in jeopardy because we all know what Manchester United Football Club does in the second half, and they showed it today when the second half started. 46 minute, Evan Nilsson, what I talk about the midfield again, the midfield got ran at. And guess what happens? Counterattack. Defenders on their back heels, they're on their haunches. They're not doing the defending. They're panicking. They're not defending. They're panicking. Evan Nilsson scores a very, very good goal. Shout out to Evan Nilsson. It's a great finish, great touch. Love to see strikers do their job. I was a striker growing up. Love strikers. It's one of my favorite positions outside of center mid. I love to see strikers do what they do. And that was a great finish from Evan Nilsson. Now, Manchester United ends up conceding a free kick. If you go take a look at the free kick that Tavernier scored, you can see Bruno kind of tapping to Lamont, telling him, like, hey, he's going to go here, he's going to go here. Still scored. So it's now ended up being 3-2. And you're just like, wow, we might be cursed. We just might be cursed at Football Club. This halftime record's about to go. And Ruben did some things, brought on Kobbie Mainoo, brought on Xerxes and Dorgu eventually, switched some things up. And you were looking like, okay, 4-4-2, they're attacking more. Sesko looked spry, had some attack. You know, he looked very, very fast. Sesko, don't dribble like that again, ever. Please don't do that. But you're thinking to yourself, hey, man, I'm enjoying this. And lo and behold, Bruno Fernandes scores one of the best free kicks he scored in his life. What a beautiful free kick that was from Bruno Fernandes, by the way. Just Bruno Fernandes. Been a legend for Manchester United. Been one of our greats over the last decade. Just incredible play he's been for Man United. What a great sign-in. It's going to go down the annals of Manchester United Football Club. And then Cunha scores. And we're thinking, oh, wow, we turned this around. We're really about to do this. And Kobbie, another League On play. I love League On, by the way. If you see my tweets, I tell you, shop in League On. I believe in it. Shop in League On. Kobbie scores and ends up 4-4. And you're just sitting there just thinking to yourself, this is another one of those games where you're all excited about everything. And, you know, yes, Ruben sorts up the tactics. It's going to be teething problems. This experiment should not be abandoned. You should continue to stick with this. But it goes back to my point of saying that I'm not a big fan of this coach because this happens one too many times. You can blame the players, say they got to run more, they got to track back, they got to do this, they got to do that. But it's a feature of the manager. No matter how much he switches the personnel in the match, he puts different places, different things. It's just a feature of the manager. And you're just like, hey, at this point, this is just who and what he is with this team. You can add new players, but I think this is kind of stuck here. I think this is just what he does. I'm not a fan of it. But Amad Diallo, ooh, what a player he is. We're going to miss him during AFCON, Amad. It's not just about the trickery he does and the goals and like the crosses and the innovation. And we saw today when he got in the box and he had a shot and, dribble past everybody, you were like, ooh, I like that. That's a very good play. Almost made it 2-0 with that dribble. He's playing advanced, but the one thing I love about Ahmad is his work rate. He gets up and down. He's really good at it. He's not scared to make a tackle. He's not scared to get stuck in. And you're going to miss that over the next month. You're not going to miss him on that right flank. They're going to miss him for sure. So it's now, how do you experiment? Because Ahmad's gone. And Mbeumo has not been good. I hope he comes back from AFCON refreshed because he does not look good. Maybe that's another feature of the coach, not playing him in the right positions. This is a guy who scored 20-plus goals last season, same as Cunha, who got a goal today, but not looking too good. Mazraoui's also gone. So how do you, over the next month, deal with the absence of these players? Again, that's the coach's job. But big bright spot for me was Kobbie Mainoo. That 30-minute cameo. Kobbie Mainoo is a supreme talent. Shout out to Tyler James, by the way. Had an incredible video about Kobbie Mainoo on Twitter, and it was incredible. Tyler is one of the best video editors out there. He's incredible. So big shout out to Tyler. Big fan of his work. But Kobbie Mainoo today showed, like, listen, he can move in and out of the ball. He can pass the ball. Good at finding spaces. Good at 1-2s. Contorts his body. Kobbie's just a good conductor. That's a really good play. That's a player, again, which I'm frustrated with Ruben Amorim, is that how do you not platform a football player that good? You look at a player like that. This is what coaches do. Coaches come into new clubs and look and say, what can I work with? Not, I want to throw everything out. It's what can I work with first, then figure it out. Kobbie Mainoo is one of those players you look at just like, bro, that's a supreme player, man. If I'm a fan of a club that's not Manchester United, I'll be looking at him like, oh, that's a player I want to get. I'll go to Football Manager and try to buy Kobbie Mainoo, FIFA, I'll buy him. That's a talented player. That's one of those players where you can look at the XG, XA, you can look at all the advanced stats, but you just watch it from your eye. That's just football right there for me, man. Just the ingenuity of that kid. I love Kobbie Mainoo. I really do. Is he still raw? Absolutely. Kobbie Mainoo has a lot to work on, but Kobbie Mainoo has a lot to work with. And that's the thing. That's a talented football player that, to me, make that work. Figure it out with Kobbie Mainoo. That's how I feel. But he showed that he has enough in that 10 to 30 minutes. You should give him more minutes. I think there's a player that you need to experiment with more. But on that said note, Kobbie Mainoo's brother Jordan, if he watched Love Island, he was on Love Island years back. Jordan, man. Jordan. Wearing that free Kobbie Mainoo t-shirt at the game, knowing what's going on with Ruben Amorim, knowing how the English media are, especially to young black boys, knowing how social media is. You're just putting a bigger target on your brother's back. You're the bigger brother. Behave yourself. Act like the adult in the room. Know better. Go into Old Trafford and then posting the shirt that says free Kobbie and then posting your Instagram. Bro, what are you doing? You're the big bro. I'm saying it again as a big brother. What are you doing? Do better. Be the big example for your brother. Now you're putting more spotlight and more necessary nonsense and hate on your younger brother who's just trying to put his head down to work, trying to play for his boyhood club, but you're making shit even worse. Come on, Jordan, man. This is not cool, bro. It's not ideal for you doing that to younger brother. Kobbie Mainoo was excellent today, but now he's gonna get distracted because his big brother wore a free Kobbie Mainoo t-shirt at the game, and it's just you're like, why did you do that? What was the point of any of that? Especially knowing how English media are. Like, now we're gonna hear Piers Morgan flap his unnecessary gums to say something, or someone like Samuel Luckhurst, or one of these weirdos online and just talking crazy about your brother. It's stupid. It was unnecessary. Do better, man. But yes, Kobbie was great today. Last point. I truly believe Ruben Amorim is sunk cost fallacy. For those who don't know what that is basically you're pouring something into something you already know that's finished. That's the loosest example I can give you. But Ruben Amorim is sunk cost fallacy. Apparently Ornstein said that Man United really, really believe in the coach and they think he can turn it around. Again, that's sunk cost fallacy. This is a coach who has only 6 clean sheets in 43 games. The numbers are there. The eye test is there. The way he talks from the media, everything right there is there for you to know that this man is not a good cultural fit at Manchester United Football Club. And personally, I just don't think he fits the ethos, doesn't feel the culture. There was the Busby Babes, there's a class of 92. You've seen John O'Shea, you've seen Kieran Richardson, you've seen Wes Brown, you've seen Darren Fletcher. You see all these guys who've come through the academy and done well. Danny Welbeck, Kobbie Mainoo, Paul Pogba. The list goes on and on. Scott McTominay. There's so many, Jesse Lingard. There's so many players throughout the years who have just come through Old Trafford and built careers. Nicky Butt. All these players throughout the years have come through Old Trafford and come through the academy, and they've done so well for themselves. And even at United, outside of United, and that's what makes Manchester United the lifeblood of what it is. It's a club that's featured in academy players every match day since the early 30s, mid 30s. That's a literal tradition. And a manager lost to Tottenham in the cup final, doesn't bode well, man. It's left a sour taste in my mouth since. It seems like they really, really want to believe in Ruben, but for me personally, based on the evidence, based on numbers, is this a manager you really want to believe in? Is it one? But up next for Man United, they got Aston Villa away. And guess what? They've won 9 games in a row. It's going to be a tough game at Villa Park. It's a tough game. But that's it for me today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm Tosin. This is the Shirtless Plantain Show. I'm out. Take it easy. Peace.